Hello, people. Welcome back to another video by your good friend Chad Marco. Make sure you attack the like button right now and subscribe. And let's have a conversation. So, I was on 4chan, or I forgot what board I was on. And there was this little, I guess it was a TikTok video or something. I'll play it during the video so you'll see what I'm talking about. But the video was basically, it was a short clip of this guy. You don't get to see his face, but he's like this tall, I'm assuming Caucasian or maybe mixed, I'm not sure. But this tall guy walking around in another country. And there was somebody following him with a camera. I guess it was a camera, the phone the camera on a phone, the phone and the camera, and recording it. And while he's walking through this city at night, you see all these different girls like looking at him, but not just looking at him, but like completely turning their bodies in his direction, staring, like gawking, like they just want to rip his clothes off and fuck him right there. And I remember I was watching this video and I was like, damn, dude, like there is a distinct difference between being an average guy and being a guy who is actually attractive. And I mean like really attractive. And it always, and look, with this video, I've heard some people say, oh, the women, they were prostitutes or this and that. I've heard so many different copes about this goddamn, or excuses about this video. And the thing is, even if they were hookers or something like that, one, I definitely don't think all of them were hookers. But even if they were, the level of thirst that they were displaying specifically towards that guy still wouldn't make sense. Because if you're a prostitute, you would show that kind of attention to every guy that passes by, because you're just looking for the money. You don't it's not going to matter if the guy is handsome or not. It's about who can give you the most money. But I digress. But that video, man, it was a harsh reminder to me that I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. And it's not that I don't already know that, but it's kind of like when you look at the podcast where I was talking about choosing signals. And I went down all the times throughout my life where I got choosing signals and things like that. And I think I've had enough encounters like that to have at least some degree of understanding that I'm not completely unattractive. But when you see a guy who actually is legitimately attractive, and the difference between your experiences and his experiences, it just makes it so clear that like the power level gap is so extreme. I mean, within this one video, in this one clip, this guy got more meaningful attention from women than I have in my entire life. Like all those stories that I laid out in the Choosing Signals episode of the podcast, he had that and more in a 1 minute clip. I mean, it's crazy. And it got me thinking about something too, and it got me thinking about I don't know if you call it the philosophy or the guidelines that is sort of laid out for men in regards to our relationship with women, and really from like the whole effort thing, like how important it is for us to chase after women and pursue women and approach women and woo them and all the PUA tricks and this and that. And then when you see a guy like that, it's like, oh shit, well, you only have to do all that because you're really, in a way, you're compensating for not being naturally attractive. And, the thing is, and I think this is kind of interesting because it made me realize, when you look at nature, obviously nature wants us to reproduce. And so it makes sense when you think about it, because it's like, why would nature really make mating and getting women this hard, difficult thing, right? It would be much better if it was easy. But the thing is, it is easy for certain types of guys. Some guys really are, quite frankly, just naturally attractive to women. You could chop it up to specific physical traits, demeanor, attitude, charisma, whatever the case may be, or a combination of all those things. But the simple fact is, some guys are absolutely just naturals when it comes to attracting and getting with women. It's not always this big struggle, right? Or desperate attempt to get different girls. And again, it makes sense because, nature wants men and women to come together and have sex and make babies. So why make it more difficult than it needs to be? I just think that from the male side of things, unfortunately, we're in a position where it's only a minority of men are that attractive to where they can have the easy route to pussy, right? And it made me think back to when I was growing up, and as far back as elementary school, I remember I had a crush on this girl, and she liked this other guy though. So the girls I like, they always like somebody else, and so she liked this other guy, and throughout from elementary school to middle school to high school, he would become known as like the guy. Like he was that guy, the natural, the guy that girls just liked. He just had that it factor. He just had it. And it's funny because he had it going all the way back to elementary school. And I think that's an important fact because, again, oftentimes, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic, I'm just being realistic. When we look at, when we look at what men are taught as far as how to get women, there's so many people who try to disregard like what you have naturally or genetically or how you look, things that are out of your control. So many people try to disregard that. And I get that because that's not a good way to come to the door and build confidence. But I just think it's so all important. And it's funny because when you look at this guy that I'm talking about, it's not like he learned something in middle school or high school and then applied it and suddenly became this guy. He was always that guy. I remember we were in the same classes from elementary school to high school. And he had the reputation of being a pussy getting motherfucker I don't know if he was having sex in elementary school. I hope not. But he was that guy from beginning to end. Now, I'm not saying that's always the case. Sometimes guys are late bloomers. You might have a growth spurt and end up 6 feet tall in high school. You might lose weight. So there are, of course, varying factors. But he had that natural it factor that just made girls like him. And I just think that's such it's just so interesting because I think we always look at it as women being the ones who have that. But the fact is, there are some guys who have that as well. But me, 5 minutes of research. So I want to look at a couple things to try to get, just some more examples of that perspective. So we're going to look at an article real quick, not too long, but we're going to check it out real quick. So this article is from Hack Spirit, and it says 18 signs you are an attractive guy. Ooh. Are you hot? And if so, what does that even mean? Here are signs that many people find you physically attractive. Many people who are attractive don't really think about it or realize they are. Here's how to spot the signs that those around you find you objectively physically attractive. You get smiles wherever you go. Smiling is a way of showing a welcoming and approving message. One of the top signs you are an attractive guy is that you get smiles wherever you go. Even when you're not smiling, people of all ages and genders seem to light up when you walk in the room and you're not sure why. It could be as simple as the fact that you're good looking and they like that. That's now, I feel like I've kind of experienced that, but not in a I'm so attractive kind of way. It's kind of like when I was doing the Ballad of Kentre Brown video. It was like whoever I would interact with in the mall, they would just it seemed like they liked me, but not, not in a, oh, he's an attractive kind of way, more like my energy, more like in a friendly way. So I feel like I've kind of had that, but only in situations where I was just able to interact with people and show them my personality. But again, I wouldn't really say it was anything sexual or attraction based. It's more so just my energy, right? Because I'm talking about like guys, old ladies, right? Like just anybody that I kind of vibe with. But as far like I'm assuming they're talking about like specifically the type of like smiley looks of like lust and attraction. Now, as far as I know, I don't really get that. I don't really notice women checking me out. Women and gay guys get flustered around you. Women and gay men get flustered around you is a pretty reliable sign you are an attractive guy. Throughout this article, I'll refer to women, but the signs I provide can also obviously apply to gay men. So what does getting flustered mean? Simply put, it means that people get quickly turned on around you on a frequent basis. Signs of which can be blushing suddenly, getting a hoarse voice, fidgeting or shuffling around you, being clumsy when they see you, stuttering or saying silly things around you without intending to. Now, I absolutely never experienced this with women, but I have had gay men in the past hit on me quite blatantly. Actually, I would say there was probably at least, let me see, one, let me count it up. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. Let me go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6. I'd say at least 6, and they were very bold, very clear, right? And one even offered me money. But as far as I've never, ever felt like, oh, this girl around me is just, she just can't contain herself. Never felt that for sure. You draw others to you. When you're an attractive guy, others are drawn to you. It's not only about physical appearance, of course, it's about your drive and your inner purpose. What are you working towards? What gets you up in the morning when you know deep in your bones it turns you magnetic and cranks your charisma off the charts? So how do you find out? The idea of positive visualization and raising your vibrations actually backfires and leaves you living in daydream land. Instead, I recommend this strange new way of finding your purpose without using visualization. It's something that IdeaPod co-founder Justin Brown talks about in his free video. He learned about working with the renowned Brazilian shaman Ruda Lande. Okay, I kind of interested. But now that's something I don't really notice for myself either. Now I think that, cause I'm a very introverted person. So I only get like those good vibes when I'm in a situation where I have to interact with somebody, but it's not like I'm just doing my thing and people, other than like people who seem like running around town and shit like that. But for the most part, people don't just start conversating and talking with me. For the most part, you don't really think you're hot. If I ask you whether you're a good person, one of the best indicators you really are is that you would probably say, not really. I am. It's a bit similar with being attractive. Many of the most attractive men and women don't think they are attractive. You may find that you've always been quite self-conscious or insecure about your appearance and even have trouble taking and believing compliments. That's because being truly attractive isn't only on the surface, it's also the internal attitude of not being arrogant or showing off about your physical beauty. Now me, I've always felt like I was probably around a 5 or a 6. I would definitely not really consider myself necessarily attractive. I think honestly I'm quite basic, and I think that my lack of like normal way of dressing and grooming probably hurts me as well. But I've never really seen myself as being particularly attractive. But I don't see myself as being unattractive either. But I will say though, I'm not completely devoid of having any ego about how I look. I like the way I look personally, especially when I'm taking good care of myself. But when you don't have the experiences with women to back that up, and to confirm that you are attracted to women, then it kind of leaves you in sort of this mental limbo as far as like your perception of your own attractiveness. Because again, I don't see myself as being unattractive, but I don't see myself as being attractive either. And I think really that's probably the most accurate assessment of of how I look. I'm not bad looking, but I'm definitely not attractive either, because I wouldn't be a virgin if I was. but others consistently say you are. This difficulty you may have in believing you're attractive can often be linked to modesty and not wanting to take credit for your appearance. After all, what did you do to earn having a beautiful face or eyes? Yet others seem to consistently praise you for your beautiful smile, being handsome, and also joke about your romantic success. Of course, being attractive doesn't at all mean you will experience romantic success, just as it also does it for women. That's bullshit. Listen to this. Hold up. Of course, being attractive doesn't at all mean you will experience romantic success, just as it also does. That's fucking laughable. Now, look, outliers, exceptions, sure. But if you're attractive, you're gonna be fucking, period. Yet, if you're hearing these kinds of comments quite often, you can be confident that at least by the standards of your society, you are considered to be a hot guy. Okay, I'm gonna skip the ones that don't really seem. You own your ugliness. You're in shape and muscular. Oh, that sounds like me. In terms of what is in your control to some extent, it's true that there's a lot you can do in terms of your figure. This includes dieting, working out, exercising, and various forms of working on your body. One of the top signs you are an attractive guy is that you get compliments on your body itself. If you go to the gym, you catch girls checking you out, and they may also smile at you more than the average guy. Sizzle away, sexy boy. Now, I think, you guys know I got the guns. Right? The weirdest thing is I get the most compliments for my calves, though. Like the other day when I was in the gym, like this big triple OG black dude, he looked like a retired giga nigga Tyrone, right? And he was like, man, you got some serious calves. And I was like, thank you. But that's what I get complimented on the most in terms of my body. But again, it's not like I never get complimented for being in shape. Some of you guys have complimented me, my friends and whatnot, strangers, but it's never women. That's the thing about it. It's never. I don't think a woman has ever said anything about except my friend's mom, and that's a whole different. And I think that was because she saw me grow up as a little regular looking guy and see me get bigger and shit. But I think that's all that was. But never women, no looks, nothing like that. You make women orgasm in bed. Oh boy. Okay, I think it's time to go. But I also want to check out, go to Reddit. Reddit is a great place for, looking for stories oh, look at me. I got 3.7K karma. I used to post on Reddit quite a bit back in the day. But let's get right into this. So this is from Ask Men on Reddit. So it's the question was about what is it like being an attractive guy, right? And so let's read some of these posts. So this guy, Dairy Dog 91, says women hide the food when you're around or they nibble. I'm not quite sure what that means. I'm thinking maybe girls don't want to eat in front of a hot guy. You can fuck up and still get her phone number. You would be assumed to have a high number or body count. Sometimes I get whistled and catcalled. Again, something that pretty much never happens to me as far as women are concerned. I get touched a lot. Ooh, you have nice arms is a popular one. Also getting bumped into at every opportunity. That only happened to me once many years ago. Straight men like me, not sexually, but it's noticeable in interviews and friendships, they'll do stuff for you that they wouldn't do for someone who was shorter and uglier. Whoa, we're getting to the black pill here. And so this guy, he's replying, he's saying why did he have to make the text so big? He said 2 is incredibly true. You can have a 10-second conversation with a girl and leave with a number. 5, proximity is a big thing. I noticed that people don't shy away from me because being close to them. You can literally rub shoulders with someone and they probably won't move, mostly women. As a result, I guess I'm more likely to bump into people. Smiling gets more reactions than probably someone who isn't as attractive. Okay. This guy's kind of boring. Let's get to the next one. So this guy says, I used to be friends with this super attractive guy. Girls fell at his feet kind of attractive. He was also very charming and intelligent and slept around a fair bit. Every straight male we were also friends with barely concealed their hatred for him, except the ones who he had grown up with or were super attractive themselves. I can only assume it was jealousy, although none of them ever gave a reason beyond, don't know, I just don't like him. And I feel like that was kind of the same with the guy, the guy I was telling you about that I was at school with, because he had a lot of, from what I remember, he had beefs with different people. And he was kind of a street dude, and so he would get into fights and shit, from what I could remember. And I'm sure a lot of people were hating on him. But this guy replied, and he said something interesting. He says, average looking guy here. I wouldn't chalk it down to jealousy that quickly, at least not solely. I got a few friends who are really good looking, intelligent to boot as well. While it's true I sometimes envy the ease with which these guys pick up women, that's not why I dislike them. To be fair, I don't hate or even dislike them at all. They're my friends for a reason. I like them quite a bit. I do dislike having them around sometimes, though, at parties or the pub, for instance. The bad thing about these people is the shadow they cast. Without them around, girls find me interesting, attractive enough, and I get attention. It's fun. I don't really need to be better looking, hence the lack of jealousy. When they are around, though, literally the moment they walk into the room, all that attention is gone. When seen next to them, I look short, ugly, and I can't keep up with their level of conversation. I've had girls who I'm currently in the middle of a conversation with, girls who clearly showing interest in me, literally turn their back on me the moment they see them. I suddenly find myself talking to the back of their head as they just walk off for better prey, I suppose. It's not that I dislike them because they make me jealous. I just like being around them because they make me look bad. I just like how they turn a great environment into a depressing one merely being in it. That's basically jealousy, let's be honest. If you want to really, split hairs here, you can call it envy. I'll admit, like the guy in that video, I'm kind of envious. And some people might think I'm coping when I say this, but dude, I'd rather have money than bitches. It's like when people like talk about PewDiePie, right? Because he's got all this money and he got a wife and kid, and then they try to present it like, oh, everybody's jealous of his wife and he got a kid. I'm like, fuck that shit. I'd rather just have the PewDiePie money. Fuck. Right? But dude, I get it. It is something to envy. But this guy says, moderately attractive male here. Women don't approach me, but they're usually very warm towards me. Like, they often stare at me and usually smile back if I smile at them. On the other hand, my male friends are also friendly, but tend to view me as a bit soft due to my looks. Okay. Let me try to find another good one. Almost all my friends are way more attractive than I am. They're still good friends, and I'm ugly enough that it's not like they're stealing ladies' attention from me. I wouldn't have gotten it anyway. So why should I give a fuck if they're good looking? God, it's kind of depressing. Okay, so all right, let's look at another. I had another thread lined up too. So this is another thread, but same question, right? So this guy says, I knew a guy that handsome. I swear one time a girl dated one of our friends for a year just so she can get close to him. That friend was heartbroken for a long time. We called him Jesus because he would literally make any room with women sinking wet and would usually walk away because he didn't care. Now this guy says, went to a bachelor party where one of the guys in the group was a male model, and we ended up hanging out all night, gambling at the same table. He had a girlfriend at home and wasn't interested in meeting women, but everywhere we went, and I mean everywhere, beautiful women were staring at him trying to make eye contact with him. I'm no slouch, but damn, would have been fun to walk in his shoes for a night. Kind of sounds like the guy in the video. And then a guy replies, I'm sure at an early age he gets bored with it because he probably received so much female validation over his lifetime. Maybe. I love what this guy says here. It's like being a dog and everyone wants to pet you. Either you do it with a smile or you growl. Okay, this was a long, boring story, so I'm gonna just skip that. Okay. Okay, here's a good one. I think very attractive is a strong word, but I get enough attention comments from hetero, homosexual men and women alike to have come to the realization that I'm attractive. The best way I could describe it is like living life on an easier mode. The halo effect is real, especially if you're tall. People are more likely to trust you, listen to what you have to say, and to like you for no real reason at all besides looking aesthetically pleasing. I just had a coworker last week tell me I get whatever I want in the work setting. And while I like to think I'm very competent, have a good work ethic, and I'm a bit of a workaholic, I think a lot of what she said has to do with my appearance. The downside is that the attention can be a lot. If you're in a relationship, simply going out with friends without your partner can be anxiety inducing because you feel inherently bad for some reason if girls come to talk and make moves. Work settings can be shitty because it can be difficult to maintain professional relationships with women coworkers if they're attracted and make moves. Guys can be jealous and envious, and you have to work inordinately hard to show guys you aren't there to threaten them. Every few weeks when my social endurance is pegged, even going to the gym can be emotionally taxing because all you want to do is be left alone, but you can't find anywhere to go without people looking at you. Oh, so tragic. This guy says, I guess I'm pretty handsome. I've got a fitness model tier body and angular face, etc. Aside from a period where I was overweight, I never have a problem meeting women. I've slept with a few hundred. Damn. Pros, easy to get a date, easy to reconcile arguments. Cons, lots and lots of women would date you for how you look despite being totally incompatible on a personal level. It's something that actually wears on you a lot because sometimes you get your hopes up, but after a month, you realize it's just not worth it. Lots of women will want you for what you are and not who you are. Still, it's not the worst problem to have. Thank you for that bit of honesty at the end there, Pence. Oh, man. Okay. So I guess that's about it with the anecdotes, right, from these various Redditors. How dare I, right? But, you know, I look, I didn't want to make this video to be pessimistic or, try to crush anybody's dreams. I just think it's an interesting thing, right? Because even sometimes myself, when I'm in peak form and I've been on point with my dieting and working out consistently and got my hair twisted up, fresh and nice and twisted up and fresh shave and I'm looking good. Sometimes those ego-like thoughts start to come back. Like I start feeling myself a little bit. But then, I see a guy like that or I read stories like those and it's like, nah, like I'm nowhere near that level. It don't matter. And the thing is, that's not to say that I can't have success in dating. It's just that, and I consider guys like myself to be strugglers. We are the struggling. We're the struggle. Like you ever played Star Wars Battle Assault or Star Wars Battle Assault 2? And in those games, it's like a total war type game where you're using grunt soldiers to fight other like waves of grunt soldiers, like basic infantrymen and snipers and explosive experts and shit, right? That's us as average men. We're like a basic soldier unit, a basic ass rifleman, right? But then in those games, for a short period of time, you can summon like the classic hero characters like Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader, Samuel Jackson's character, right? Yoda, whatever, and Obi-Wan, and they come in and just kick ass, kill everybody, right? Just taking out waves and waves of enemies, right? Those are the attractive guys. Those are the pretty boys. Those are the heroes of the story. They come in and they just wipe up easily. They're the chosen ones. They're the Gundams. We're the Zakus. Right? We live that Zaku life. And look, it is what it is. I'm not complaining. I just think that it's necessary to understand these dynamics, because again, I think too often people downplay this reality and downplay how big of a difference it is between guys like that who are just naturally attractive to women and guys who just don't have that edge and have to work quite a bit harder. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So I would love to hear you guys feedback on this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe one of you guys out there is objectively attractive and you have some stories to share. Please share those in the comments, or maybe you know a guy, whatever. Tell us all about it. I'd be interested to know. That's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you later. John.